Dumelang. Sometimes I wonder what we mean when we say a people are intelligent. Today, we often point to books, to universities, to research papers, to artificial intelligence. But before books, before universities, before computers, how did a people preserve what they knew? They placed it in their language. They placed it in stories. They placed it in songs. They placed it in ceremonies. Most importantly, they placed it in proverbs. A proverb is not just a sentence. It is compressed experience. It is a warning that survived. Our ancestors were not trying to entertain us. They were trying to keep us alive. Every proverb asks us to pay attention, not to the words, but to reality. Take the proverb, Lemphorwana, bojalwa, fofele kgakala. A small bird of alcohol does not fly far. When that proverb was first spoken, alcohol was nowhere as available as it is today. There were no liquor stores on every corner, no advertisements encouraging constant consumption, no social media normalizing intoxication. Yet, they noticed something. Alcohol limits human growth. Not every drinker, not every occasion, but over many generations, they observed the pattern. Today, we have medical research explaining how alcohol affects the brain, the liver, and the body. Science explains the mechanism. The proverb had already noticed the pattern. That doesn't mean every proverb is beyond question. It means every proverb deserves investigation. Our ancestors were running long-term experiments, not in laboratories, in life. Generation after generation, they observed people, families, animals, seasons, harvests, droughts, and relationships. When a pattern repeated itself long enough, it became a proverb. That proverb became part of the language. That language became part of the culture. That culture became the library. This is why I say our intelligence was not absent because it was unwritten. Our intelligence was written differently. It was written into people. It was written into memory. It was written into the tongue. Sometimes we read these proverbs and dismiss them as old-fashioned. But perhaps they are not old. Perhaps they are waiting for us to become observant again. Waiting for us to ask, what were they trying to protect? Because most proverbs are not rules. They are warnings. They point toward balance. Our ancestors understood that life moves between opposites: work and rest, wealth and poverty, joy and suffering, courage and caution. They understood balance because they watched nature. Today, many of us have become disconnected from nature, disconnected from community, disconnected from ourselves. And perhaps this is why our societies feel unbalanced, not because we have forgotten information, but because we have forgotten observation. Black consciousness, to me, is not simply about race. It begins there because history demands it. But ultimately, it's about becoming conscious again. Conscious of ourselves, conscious of our language, conscious of our culture, conscious of the patterns that shape human life. When we recover that consciousness, we stop treating proverbs as decorations. We begin treating them as questions. Questions that every generation must answer again. So before you dismiss the wisdom of your grandparents, ask yourself one question. What did they see that I no longer notice? Perhaps the future of Africa is not only hidden in new technology. Perhaps part of it has been waiting for us in the words we have spoken all along. Re a leboga. A lebogwe Ramasedi. We give thanks to the Most High. Danke san.